Welcome to Synopsis Hunter. And today we will be talking about God of War for Sony PlayStation 2. Our story began with Kratos throwing himself off the highest mountain in all of Greece. As he was about to make his death drop. Our story flashbacks 3 weeks earlier in the Aegean Sea.
Foul beast! I will send you back to the depths of Hades!
Kratos battles a horde of seemingly undead warriors. And as they were gradually reduced, more came out from the deck. As our hero made his way to the ship's cabin, Kratos encounters a Hydra bursting in. But it was no threat to Kratos. And he stabbed it in the eye, forcing the creature to retreat. Kratos stepped out to the ship's deck, and there are plenty of harpies flying in the air. He killed several of them, and another Hydra bursted from the deck's wooden floors. This one is more aggressive as it attempted to swallow Kratos. But our hero is too strong to be kept inside any monster's jaws. And it retreated like the previous one. Kratos went after the monster down the floors where it bursted out and found himself at another part of the deck where planks connected one ship to another. Setting foot on another vessel, Kratos encounters one of the deckhands.
It's you! The visions, they were real! The gods came to me, told me their champion would come and rescue us from the Hydra. But you're too late! We're pinned down! These creatures, they came from nowhere. The ships are all destroyed, all hope is lost, Spartan, even for you.
Arrows are raining down on this ship's deck, but Kratos pushed through to destroy the archers who got in his way. Kratos climbs the ship's mast, pulling down the men's feet to their deaths as he elevates himself to the top, zip line his way to another ship. Our hero met the apparition of the Greek sea god who gave him power called Poseidon's Rage. Kratos climbs his way to the upper deck, only to find the captain and his crew eaten alive by 2 Hydras and a giant one. Our hero took care of the 2 smaller Hydras, then climbs the rope ladder to impale the giant Hydra on the ship's mast, killing it. Kratos ran through the Hydra's insides to retrieve the ship captain's cabin key hanging from his neck. But unfortunately for the captain, Kratos didn't come to save him. With this key, Kratos head towards the captain's cabin to witness a massacre.
Slaughtered like animals, the victims lay before him, a reminder of his own past, a past he could never escape. His only solace was the sea, endlessly sailing from one harbor to the next in service to the gods of Olympus. All his hopes rested with them. For no matter how much wine he consumed or how many women he took to his bed, nothing on earth could rid him of the horrors that plagued his mind.
Athena! 10 years, Athena. I have faithfully served the gods for 10 years. When will you relieve me of these nightmares?
We request one final task of you, Kratos. Your greatest challenge awaits in Athens, where even now my brother Ares lays siege as we speak. Athens is on the verge of destruction. It is the will of Ares my great city fall. Zeus has forbidden the gods from waging war on each other. That is why it must be you, Kratos. Only a mortal trained by a god has a chance at defeating Ares.
And if I am able to do this, to kill a god, then the visions, they will end?
Complete this final task, and the past that consumes you will be forgiven. Have faith, Kratos. The gods do not forget those who come to their aid.
Leaving the rotting carcass of the Hydra behind, Kratos set sail once more. His greatest challenge and freedom from his growing madness lay before him in the ancient city of Athens.
Kratos has made it to Athens. And he didn't have a friendly welcoming committee in the docks. Our hero made his way to an elevator. As he saw minotaurs pursuing soldiers. Kratos defeated them by smashing one of them to the ground and shoving his weapon down the throat of the other. Our hero encounters an armored humanoid with a spiked ball. Kratos got on his back and stabbed it in his face. Along his way, he finds Medusa slithering in the pillars. Our hero needs its petrifying powers, and so Kratos ripped her head off with his bare hands. There's a well-reinforced door standing in the way. And Kratos uses a ballista to break it down. To progress any further, our hero pushes a statue, smashing it to pieces with its head conveniently below a broken ladder. Kratos battles two Medusas this time, killing one of them with Poseidon's rage and ripping the other one's head. Our hero encounters another ballista. And this one has a long rope attached to its arrow. Kratos makes his way along the rope to reach another premise. Our hero activated a mechanism delivering the Oracle of Athens' message to Kratos to find her temple to the east, and she will teach Kratos how to kill the god of war. Just ahead of the Oracle's mechanism, our hero gazes upon Ares, the god of war, telling himself that this city will be his grave. With that said, Kratos made his way to the city, where monsters ran amok and the people panic. As our hero wandered around town square, a gigantic ogre showed up, terrorizing the common people with its presence. But Kratos defeated it with successive attacks until the ogre breathed one's last. Inside a temple, Kratos encounters a woman who seemed to be frightened of him. As our hero draws closer, she jumps off the balcony, killing her instantly. Kratos climbs on two vines and jumps into ledges to get to the higher part of the temple. Along the way, he met Zeus's apparition, who gave him the power to shoot lightning onto his enemies. On our hero's ordeal in the rooftops of Athens, he encounters plenty of monsters whom he dismantled one by one, until he encounters a cowardly man who refuses to let go of the lever to extend the bridge, fearing the monsters would gain access to where he is. Kratos resorted to use the gift Zeus gave him and shoot lightning onto a spineless coward extending the bridge. Our hero finally met the Oracle of Athens in the flesh, but only for a brief moment. The Harpies who Kratos has been killing has snatched her away. And he is compelled to follow the Harpies' lead. On his way to Oracle's temple, Kratos came across a gravedigger who told him that, in his time of greatest need, he will come to his aid. Inside the temple, Kratos finds the Oracle dropped by the Harpies and struggle to keep her grip on a dangling rope several meters above the ground. Kratos has managed to rescue the Oracle with a daring jump.
And with that act, Kratos set in motion the events that would lead to his downfall.
Kratos, as Athena herself has foretold. But you are late, perhaps too late to save Athens. Or is it Athens you have come to save?
No! I can't! We must not stop!
And when the Oracle looked into his soul, she saw a beast as well as a man. Once a captain in the Spartan army, Kratos had begun his command with only 50 soldiers. But soon his numbers grew to the thousands. His tactics were brutal, but effective. Drunk with power, he was feared by all, except one. His wife was the only one to brave his fury.
How much is enough, Kratos? When will it end?
When the glory of Sparta is known throughout the world.
The glory of Sparta. You did this for yourself.
His desire for conquest knew no bounds, but that which he desired would ultimately consume him.
the gods! Why would Athena send one such as you?
Stay out of my head!
Choose your enemies wisely, Kratos. Your brute strength alone will not be enough to destroy Ares. Only one item in the world will allow you to defeat a god. Pandora's box, which lies far beyond the walls of Athens, hidden by the gods across the desert to the east. But be warned, Kratos. Many have gone in search of Pandora's box. None have returned.
Our hero made it to the Desert of Lost Souls. It's a place where sandstorms are constant and sirens dwell. In order for Kratos to progress, he must kill all 3 sirens, one at a time, and make his way to a secret path. Inside the temple, our hero encounters a stationary horn. Kratos blew on it, and it summoned a titan called Kronos crawling in all fours, carrying the temple of Pandora on his back.
Kronos, the last of the mighty titans, emerged from the desert sands. On his back, Pandora's temple awaited, massive and patient, ready to challenge all who went in search of its guarded treasure. For 3 days, Kratos climbed the sheer walls of the mountain. He knew he would either recover Pandora's box or perish inside the cursed temple, never to return to the world of man.
Kratos has made it to Pandora's temple. He met a man who happened to be the first one to attempt the retrieval of Pandora's box. But he was punished by the gods for failing by giving him a task of burning the corpses of fools who lost their lives in the temple. The man opens the gates for Kratos, and our hero's quest for Pandora's box has commenced. Kratos opens a round massive door to get him inside the rings of Pandora, where he finds a crank that rotates the whole area to reveal a path for him. Our hero meets the apparition of Artemis, and she gave Kratos a weapon that she used to slay a titan in ages past. Kratos made his way to a deep pit with the help of a primitive anchor to guide him down. With the rope at the bottom that connect to another portion of the pit, our hero follows through. Enemies use the rope Kratos is using as well, and he battles them while hanging on. At the other side, Kratos finds the shield of Hades and took it, activating a trap that will flatten Kratos if he doesn't get out of the contraption quick. Then a horde of enemies has spawned in a dire situation, and Kratos battles on to escape captivity. Kratos escapes and made his way up again, and went up a ladder just within reach to the pit he was just in, and collected the shield of Zeus across the beams. With both shields in his possession, Kratos unlocked a door that leads to an area with deadly buzzsaws that move rapidly across the chamber. Our hero advanced cautiously and stepped into an area with very limited walkway, and so Kratos will have to carefully inch his way with the ledges. Kratos entered a room with a huge statue of the Titan Atlas. As he turns the cranks, the statue lifts a boulder as well. And with the lever on the upper floor of the chamber pulled, the huge statue hurled the boulder, breaking the door in front of it, revealing the iron casket of the architect's son. Our hero opens the lid, revealing the remains of the boy. And Kratos ruthlessly ripped the head of the boy's unwilling corpse, revealing a passage just below the casket.
The wrecked bodies of those who had gone in search of Pandora's box lay before him, and at once Kratos knew who was responsible. For this was not the first time he'd seen the ruin Ares and his minions had left in their wake. Kratos had experienced it firsthand years before. The youngest and boldest captain in the Spartan army, Kratos inspired fierce loyalty in his men. It had always been enough to carry them through any battle, until this day. The barbarians to the east numbered in the thousands, and descended on the Spartans without mercy. The battle lasted mere hours. The discipline and training of the Spartans did little to stem the tide of the merciless barbarians. The soldiers faced a massacre, while their young captain faced the end of his brilliant career and his life. But to Kratos, victory was worth any price, even his soul.
Ares! Destroy my enemies, and my life is yours.
That desperate call for aid would come to haunt Kratos for all his days.
By the gods, what have I become?
With the architect's son's head, Kratos shoved it in an iron skull depression to reveal the inner chamber of Pandora's rings. While running away from an iron roller, Kratos went up a ladder and jumped on the roller, climbing another ladder, leading to an upper level of Pandora's rings. With a whole new level to explore, Kratos resumes with his quest and finds a small green creature that rapidly grew bigger and grew 2 more heads with fire for drool. Kratos battles on as more of these creatures show up and would grow if our hero doesn't exterminate them quick enough. Our hero breaks the neck of the large creature, killing it, and proceeded with killing the smaller ones. Kratos scales the walls of Pandora's temple on the outside, with the view of Kronos crawling on all fours from below. Our hero traversed through the interiors of Pandora's temple again to find soldiers hanging on cages. Kratos then lowered one of them and dragged him all the way to the incinerator to be sacrificed to the gods and gain entry to Poseidon's chambers. Gaining entry to the sea god's domain, Kratos pulled out Poseidon's trident to give him the ability to explore the depths of the god's area. Our hero climbed the blocks behind Poseidon's statue to reach a submerged area of the domain, to end up in an area guarded by minotaurs. Kratos fights them off with great savagery, striking them with his blades and smashing them to the ground. Our hero pulls the lever to raise the pillars from the water, and Kratos dives to get to the secret elevator, going deeper down to return to the rings of Pandora. With the gift received from Poseidon's trident, Kratos managed to dive the deep depths of the submerged parameter of Pandora's rings that let Kratos surface into Hades' domain. Its interiors resemble that of a medieval castle with lavas pouring on ditches. A band of centaurs came down the stairs trying to prevent Kratos from completing his quest, but our hero outclassed them in a battle of strength and proved their numbers mean nothing to him. Making his way to the upper levels, Kratos activated a mechanism that raises a towering Hades statue. that illuminate everything in front of it from its mouth. Kratos dives down the moat the statue is surrounded with, pulls the lever illuminating the mouth, and climbs the statue to turn its head to the dark corridor ahead, activating the flaming boulder's trap. Our hero uses his gut instincts from being a warrior all his life to show him the correct door to roll up and advance his journey. Crossing by rope again, Kratos moves on, fighting while hanging on to the line. Our hero kicks his way through enemies and finds himself on a very dangerous high-altitude narrow plank walking. The height and the narrow path is dangerous enough. The rotating blades makes it even more challenging to navigate. But Kratos laughs in the face of danger and ziplines his way to safer grounds and unleash a Leviathan awaiting his challenge. An armored behemoth of a minotaur busted out of the giant doors and blows smoke in front of Kratos trying to intimidate him. Kratos mounted on the minotaur to dig his weapons deep on its head to saddle up and smash its head to the ground leaving the behemoth staggering. Kratos ran to the back and fired a sharp flaming log on the minotaur, cracking its armor making it more resentful. Our hero struck the minotaur with multiple blows, shattering its armor. Kratos used Poseidon's rage on the behemoth further weakening it, and with the final sharp flaming log, it impaled the minotaur to the door behind it, leaving its carcass mounted. Our hero made his way through the minotaur door. The place happens to be where the second son of the architect was laid to rest. Kratos opened the sealed tomb and ripped the head out of the boy's departed remains. On his way back to Pandora's rings, he encounters an apparition of the underworld god and offer Kratos the army of Hades. Our hero used the head of the architect's second son onto the Iron Skull depression to drain the water from the area. Reaching the innermost circle of Pandora's rings, Kratos used the contraption at the outermost ring to illuminate the gem in the middle to raise it up to the skies, conquering the lower floors of Pandora's temple and prepares himself for the challenges ahead. Upon reaching the top, the tower that raised him to the heavens brings him to the ledge with its gigantic stone hands. And upon arrival, Kratos is welcomed by a nimble satyr ready for a fight.
Kratos had been in service to the gods long enough to know the Harpy had been sent as a warning, a reminder from his former master of the decision that had cost Kratos everything. Had it been that long since he'd almost met his end at the hands of the barbarians? That long since he'd traded everything to save himself?
Ares!
The sky split apart, and the god of war stepped through. Descending from Olympus, he saw the makings of a god in a mere mortal. Ares would save Kratos. He would turn him into the perfect warrior, his servant on Earth. Only a simple pledge of loyalty was required.
My life is yours, Ares. From this day, I shall carry forth your will.
And his fate was sealed. As promised, Ares rescued his new disciple, bringing forth the power of a god, destroying those who would slaughter Kratos and his men. As for Kratos, no mere sword and shield would befit the newest servant of the god of war. The blades of chaos, forged in the foulest depths of Hades. Once attached, the chains remained so, chained and seared to the flesh, a part of the bearer's body, a permanent reminder of Kratos' pledge. In return, ultimate power. The rage of Ares exploded from within. But soon, he would learn the true cost of such power. A cost too high even for Kratos to pay.
Wretched beast! I know who it is you serve! Return to your master! Tell the god of war I am his no longer. Tell him he is not safe while I walk the earth. I will find Pandora's box, and I will use it to see him tremble and fall before me.
Upon our hero's way through his path, he encountered a cavern with a horde of foes impeding his progress, who all met their end in the brutal hands of Kratos. Exiting the caverns, our hero encounters platforms that extend and retract. Kratos then times his jumps to make his way forward.
The path before Kratos was clear, but still, the memories came rushing back, as familiar and permanent as the blades chained to his wrists. Memories of what he'd done in the name of Ares. Memories of how he'd become a servant to the god of war. A beast, his humanity robbed and replaced only with the will to murder. No one was safe. Entire armies fell before Kratos and the soldiers who followed him on his unending path of conquest, all in the name of his master. Those who offered resistance of any kind were dealt with quickly.
They've built this temple to offer prayers to Athena! This entire village stands as an affront to Lord Ares! Burn this village! Burn it to the ground!
Emboldened by the god of war, Kratos' army was ruthless, feared throughout the world for their brutality. All that mattered was conquest in the name of Kratos, their great leader, who had become near invincible. He feared nothing. But there was something about this temple, something forbidden. All his instincts told him he should never cross its threshold. Never step inside.
Beware, Kratos. The dangers in the temple are greater than you know.
But the village oracle's warning fell on deaf ears. His ambition would not be denied. All who opposed him would die. In that instant, the glory he had reveled in turned to horror. The image of his two final victims would stay with him for all his days. With that act, Kratos knew he could no longer serve his master. He had but one calling now, the death of Ares. He would murder the god of war.
Ares, you will die for what you did that night.
Kratos took a leap of faith to swing a rope onto another dangling rope, to reach another part of the cliff, and elevate him to a higher terrain. On his path ahead, he encountered moving platforms with lethal buzz saws moving along them. Our hero prudently watches his step to advance safely. As Kratos entered the room, a sigh of sepulchral air escaped the area. The desiccated corpses of the architect and his wife has decayed, surrounded with sketches of contraptions installed onto Pandora's temple. Our hero slowly ripped the festered head off the architect's wife and used it to unlock a door behind her now headless remains. Kratos made his way to a room full of conveyor belts and monsters who seemed to be guarding something with utmost importance. Enemies come to be brutalized by Kratos, but more foes come to replace the fallen ones, leaving Kratos drunk with madness decimating everything opposed to him. When it was all over, our hero advanced to his path ahead.
Kratos, your quest is at an end. You are the first mortal to ever reach Pandora's box. There is still time to save Athens. You must bring the box back to my city and use it to kill Ares. Return to Athens, Kratos. Return and save my city.
After 1,000 years, Pandora's box was at last freed of its confines. Kratos had found the means to destroy the god of war. Far away in Athens, Ares knew Kratos had succeeded in his quest.
So, little Spartan, you've recovered Zeus's precious box, but you will not live long enough to see it opened. I will see to that. Goodbye, Spartan. You will rot in the depths of Hades for all eternity.
As the life began to leave Kratos, his thoughts returned to that fateful night. Even in death, the memories, the visions would not fade. For how could he forget spilling the blood of his own family? A cruel trick orchestrated by the god of war.
My wife, my child, how? They were left in Sparta.
You are becoming all I'd hoped you'd be, Kratos. Now, with your wife and child dead, nothing will hold you back. You'll become even stronger. You will become death itself.
But as the flames consumed the temple, Kratos realized his true enemy was the god who once saved his life. The same god who had now taken everything from him.
Ares!
From this night forward, the mark of your terrible deed will be visible to all. The ashes of your wife and child will remain fastened to your skin, never to be removed.
And with that curse, all would know him for the beast he had become. His skin white with the ash of his dead family. The ghost of Sparta had been born. In the end, in death, he had failed. As the minions of Ares claimed Pandora's box, Kratos' life faded, and his cursed soul was cast into the fires of Hades.
Kratos dies by the hands of the god of war and descended to Hades for his eternal damnation. But our hero has no intention of giving up just yet. And so he grabbed a man clinging onto a ledge, lifting himself up. It was the captain of the ship who fell into the Hydra's bowels. Kratos kicks him in the face as he plummets to the river Styx. Kratos traverses the underworld where the damned end up when they pass away. In this world, he encounters plenty of bizarre and hellish platforms, with blades sticking out of them, sharp enough to lacerate flesh. A revolving spiky pillar stood in our hero's way. Kratos has to climb it cautiously. Its blades are not making it easier for him, and must inch his way very carefully, not taking any chances by scaling foolishly. Kratos has made it to the summit. And a crude anchor dropped from the sky. Kratos climbed up. He climbed so high to the top. He ended up back to Athens. And he met the gravedigger from before.
Ah, Kratos. And not a moment too soon. I only finished digging just a moment ago.
Who are you?
Now that is an interesting question. But for now, you must hurry. Athens needs you.
But how did you know I would?
Athena isn't the only god keeping watch on you, Spartan. Complete your task, Kratos, and the gods will forgive your sins.
Back to the city that was named after the goddess Athena. Our hero confronts Ares.
Kratos had traversed the desert of lost souls, bested the deadly traps of Pandora's temple, and escaped Hades itself. There was but one task left.
Zeus! Do you see now what your son can do? You cast your favor on Athena, but her city lies in ruins before me. And now, even Pandora's box is mine. Would you have me use it against Olympus itself? Kratos, returned even from the underworld. Is this the best you can do, father? You send a broken mortal to defeat me, the god of war?
After thousands of years, Pandora's box was finally opened. The power of the gods unleashed.
You are still just a mortal. Every bit as weak as the day you begged me to save your life.
I am not the same man you found that day. The monster you've created has returned to kill you.
You have no idea what a true monster is, Kratos. Your final lesson is at hand.
Kratos engages in a battle with the very object of his vengeance, Ares, the god of war. His opponent is powerful and durable, very deadly with his claws and flaming hammer. He floats in mid-air and hurls fireballs at our hero. But when Ares wrestled with Kratos, he was bested and our hero stabbed the god of war with his own claws.
Flesh that burns, bones that break. But to break a man's spirit is to truly destroy him. Do you recognize this place, Spartan? The location of your greatest failure? Perhaps there is a chance you can undo the deeds of the past.
The nightmares that had haunted Kratos for the past 10 years had now taken form and substance. His past stood before him.
Kratos! What's happening? Where are we?
By the gods, can this be real? There's nothing you can put in my way to stop me! I will save my family!
Kratos sees his wife and child in the flesh. But an army of foes resembling him is keeping him from saving his family. Our hero crushes them one at a time, finishing them off with his weapon, slaughtering them with a flurry of slashes from every angle. He even unleashed the army of Hades upon the enemies to wipe out any opposition and shocking everyone with Poseidon's rage until Kratos ran out of adversaries.
Kratos, please take us home!
Do you see, God of War? You took them once, but you'll never have them again!
You cannot save them, Kratos. You gave them up in your quest for ultimate power. There is a price to pay for everything you gain.
Not that price. I didn't want them to die.
No price is too high for what I offered, and you rejected me. A god! Now, you will have no power, no magic. All that is left for you is death!
Oh, not again.
You should have joined me, Kratos. You should have been stronger.
By the gods.
The battle was not over. The gods, it seemed, had a final gift for Kratos.
I still have allies in Olympus, Ares. Now, you will see how strong I am.
With the final boon from the gods, Kratos used it to brawl with Ares. Both of them engaged in a fight for their lives. And the outcome of the battle will decide the fate of Athens.
Kratos, it was I who saved you in your time of greatest need.
I haven't forgotten, Ares. I remember how you saved me.
That night, I was trying to make you a great warrior.
You succeeded.
Kratos had done the impossible. A mortal defeating a god. Ares was no more. The city had been saved and would thrive again. The same could not be said for Kratos, for as he sought to rebuild his soul with the help of the gods, the truth was revealed to him.
Athena, rid me of the memories that haunt me still.
You have done well, Kratos. Though we mourn the death of our brother, the gods are indebted to you. We promised your sins would be forgiven, and so they are. But we never promised to take away your nightmares. No man, no god could ever forget the terrible deeds you have done.
In the end, knowing the visions of his past would never leave him, Kratos made his way to the bluffs overlooking the Aegean Sea.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me. Now there is no hope.
And Kratos cast himself from the highest mountain in all of Greece. After 10 years of suffering, 10 years of endless nightmares, it would finally come to an end. Death would be his escape from madness. The fate of Kratos was not as it seemed. The gods had other plans. Borne aloft like a feather, Kratos found himself risen from the sea and placed on solid earth.
You will not die this day, Kratos. The gods cannot allow one who has performed such service to perish by his own hand. Ares' tactics were brutal. His path of destruction had to be stopped. But now there is an empty throne in Olympus, and a new god of war is needed. Take these stairs, Kratos. They lead to your ultimate reward.
With his life spared from death by his own hands, Kratos made his way to Olympus and takes his place among the gods.
And from that point forward, throughout the rest of time, whenever men rode forth to battle for good cause or for evil, they did so under the watchful eye of the man who had defeated a god. They were driven forward by Kratos, the mortal who had become the new god of war.
Please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, or leave a like and a comment. It will help the channel out. Thank you for watching the Synopsis Hunter.